welcome to Crate Expectations. I'm Tom, Crate Boss Kennedy, joined by Chris, Crate Crusader Palumbo, Dan, Crate Connoisseur Lozier, and Matt, Crate Master Carvalho. This is the podcast for record collectors and music nerds, and today we are talking about Diggin, Spinnin, Giggin. That's right, it's our semi-regular roundup of our new arrivals, music on heavy rotation, and gigs we've been to lately. Gents, how are we?
Doing good.
Fantastic.
Good. Alive.
If you
alive and well.
Yeah, that's a good start. If you liked those nicknames, you might be interested to learn that I didn't actually come up with those. I gave that task to a little assistant I've come across recently on the interwebs, ChatGPT. You guys heard of this?
How hip of you.
Yeah,
it's the new fad. It's
the new thing, right?
Yeah.
Tom AI Kennedy. So we are going to talk about what we've been digging, spinning, gigging. But I thought I'd just share with you. I've been playing around with this ChatGPT, just trying to get it to get some creativity bubbling around the pod. And see what you guys think. I sent it our website and I sent it our Spotify link, and I asked it to write a very generic story about Crate Expectations. So I'm just going to read it to you.
I'm excited.
I'm excited for this.
It's even incorporated our nicknames.
Nice.
So, Matt, maybe we get some, I don't know, just like a little bed of kind of story music under this.
Like reading rainbow music?
Yeah, something like that. I don't know what that is, but it sounds great.
Reading Rainbow is a children's television series that ran from 1983 to 2006. It is legendary. Come on, Tom.
Once upon a time, in a small town nestled in the rolling hills, 4 friends came together to create a podcast that would change their lives forever.
The rolling hills of WhatsApp.
They were passionate about their interests and wanted to share their knowledge with the world. And so, Crate Expectations was born.
Okay,
The first
so
host,
good. Yeah.
known as the Crate Boss, had a deep appreciation for the history of music and the stories behind each album. It's like it knows us. His co-host, the Crate Master, was an expert in rare and exotic music from around the world. Together, these two hosts formed the perfect duo for Crate Expectations, and they were joined by the Crate Crusader, who was an authority on all things related to vinyl. I feel like that's mad.
I think so.
And last but not least, there was the Crate Connoisseur, who was an avid collector of rare music and records.
I don't know who
He had
that
a
is.
wealth of knowledge on the history of music and the stories behind each album. It's starting to repeat itself a little bit.
A little bit, yeah. It's getting a little stale.
Yeah. I find like we all have these different nicknames, but
We don't know who's who.
This deep wealth of knowledge of music.
And we're just all the same.
Sounds about right.
I
Okay.
mean,
Full
with the 4
disclosure,
hosts-
my wealth of knowledge is Wikipedia. But
I was about to say.
mine is ChatGPT. With the 4 hosts, Crate Expectations was a lively and diverse show that explored the passions and interests of the hosts. They invited guests, including other collectors and experts, to share their insights and knowledge with the listeners. Each episode was filled with interesting facts and fascinating stories that kept listeners coming back for more. I hope that's the case.
That's fun.
As the show gained popularity, the hosts were offered many opportunities to take Crate Expectations to the next level. Paging sponsors, send us free records.
Yes, please.
Yes.
Dine Alone, if you're listening. We know, you know.
Humming Guru, if you want to send
yeah.
us some,
If you want to save me some
ultrasonic
money.
cleaners, that'd be cool too. I don't know.
Especially for my collection. I bet you can't. I bet your machines
Especially
can't
for
clean
Chris's
it.
collection.
I bet your machines can't clean mine.
Chris needs a sleeve sponsor.
Yeah.
They
Yeah, if you're-
travel to different countries.
Wow.
Sorry.
We travel?
We travel, yeah.
Oh, okay.
To discover new and exciting things to share with their listeners. With each new adventure, they learned something new and brought back knowledge and stories to share with their listeners. It's getting a bit stale, isn't it?
That's okay.
Years passed and the show grew into a massive success.
Yes.
Oh my God, yes.
Finally.
This thing predicting the future.
Yes. The hosts became well-known and respected figures.
That's not
They
true.
continued to share their knowledge and interests with the world, and their listeners continued to grow in number. As they reached the end of their journey, the hosts of Crate Expectations looked back on their time together and smiled. They were proud of what they had accomplished and grateful for the opportunities that had come their way. they knew their world would continue to inspire and educate people for many years to come. And they were confident that the legacy of Crate expectations would live on forever.
Wow.
And a single tear rolled down his cheek.
Beautiful, Tom. Couldn't have done it better myself.
I'm quitting my job. I don't know about you guys. I'm going to double down on this podcast.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah.
I believe in
I believe in
ChatGPT.
ChatGPT. Yeah.
And they're the 4 best friends that anyone can have.
Yes.
Yeah, big fan.
So there you have it,
man.
guys.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Great.
Man,
Great
AI's
expectations.
on our
AI
side.
knows us. Yeah, AI knows us
Yeah.
very well.
Yeah, let's just get it to script all of our episodes from now on.
Yeah, so-
save us heaps of time.
Yeah. So during the AI uprising, remember this: we're on your side.
Yeah, we're on your team.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just leave us to our music, and we will be fine.
Yeah.
So anyway, let's talk about Diggin, Spinnin, Giggin, and let's kick it off with Diggin. This is quite funny, right? Because I swear at the start of the year we all said we got to really pull back on
We all did.
newer
big time.
arrivals. We all agreed.
Big time.
We went overboard last year. Let's pull it back a bit. Maybe not get as many records, and then pretty much straight after that, everyone bought a heap of records.
Instantly.
Dan, you had I want to talk about 2 pretty exciting packages that arrived on your door in January. Talk us through these. One of them, you guys just all went wild and bought a bunch of stuff. And then another one was a nice little surprise.
Yeah, honestly, like I was bored at work, and well, I hope my boss isn't listening to this podcast.
You're allowed to be bored at work every once in a while.
I was, we just kept talking about how much we all loved the Beddy Ray's album, and it's funny because no one picked that album for best of the year, but it was all on our short. It was the one album that was on every single one of our short list. And I think it was Matt who mentioned like I need to have that album in my collection.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? Let me just see how much it would cost to bring over here. As soon as I found it in all of the color variants, and I was like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm just gonna
nerd it out.
I'm just gonna do it, and I bring it into the group chat. I'm like, guys, I'm pulling the trigger. If you guys want to split on shipping, this is the moment to do it. And lo and behold, like it's that perfect storm of everyone available at that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt and Chris come into the chat. Tom was asleep. Matt and Chris come into the chat and they're like, yeah, 100%. I want the purple one. I want the yellow one. Let's go.
I'm pretty sure I said if Matt's game, I'm game. I left it in his
He
hands.
left it on my shoulders.
I was just like, yeah.
But I would always oblige.
Yeah, I know. That's why I said it.
When
Don't
am I
ask
going to
Matt.
say no to
Yeah.
buying a record?
We're all enabling each other.
Yeah.
Literally, I send Dan the money on an e-transfer, and literally I get a text message from my wife. It's like, why did you just send Lozier $60 or whatever it was? It's a podcast thing. Don't worry about it.
It's important. It's important work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's research material, right?
Yeah.
I will say though, Matt, I think you're true to your resolution because you didn't get all the variants. You
No.
just got the one copy. So.
I tried just to stick to the one because with the latest Taylor Swift record, I got all 5 variants. So I had to stick to just one. I can't make it a habit.
Actually, my wife got all 5, not me.
That's exciting, Tom.
No, I've created a monster. We now have 2 record collectors in our house and no shelf space.
Oh, well.
Yep.
That
Hit
sounds
up
like a
IKEA.
great
Your
problem.
pain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and Dan, so that came along with, you ordered another JB as well around the same time, didn't you?
I ordered JB back in like early December, and I think, given that the label had just released the album in like late November, I had to wait about 8 weeks for it to arrive. But I think it's because they had to just get through the pressing run. But that was another album that I received from Australia, so it's like never had shipped albums from Australia. All of a sudden, I've got 4 at my door basically at the same time.
And now we all have a copy of Beddy Ray's.
We all have a copy of Beddy Ray's. And
Which is cool.
I'm so excited.
It's gotten a lot of use.
Already?
Yeah.
Good.
Oh yeah, big time.
That's awesome.
It's probably my number 1 listen to on Spotify right now.
Nice.
Every day on the way home, I'm putting it on. I put something else on, and then I just go back to it.
It's just so
It's
good.
just
Like
so
if like
playable.
for background music or for like
Anything.
anything, and you don't know what to listen to, just toss that Beddy Ray's album.
Yeah.
So
It's
good.
funny,
and
too.
And it was my pick for Winter Blues as well. So it's getting
That's right.
There you
a
go.
lot of use.
Yep.
I've recommended it to 3 friends, and every single person I've recommended to says this is an amazing album, and I'm so excited to hear more of their music.
Nice. Shout it out to
So
who?
good.
To who?
My friends Dan, Dave, and I sent it to Zach.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, my friends Dan, Chris, and Matt really liked it.
But yeah, other than
some
that,
guys.
other than that, there was also a very, very special package that arrived.
Ooh,
And
tell us more.
This one has actually been in the works for, I don't know, Tom, like what, 6 months, 7 months?
At least, yeah.
Like
at least 6 months.
And I don't know if we really talked about this in the group chat, guys, but
We didn't. That's why I'm so curious to know what's in this
I want to
package.
know.
And so I mentioned to Tom, I was like, I think what I mentioned in the group chat is like I don't have a ton of records, but what I do have are like complete discographies of a couple bands. And the one that I've always wanted is the discography of the Beatles, but the Beatles never released all of their studio albums in North America. When they released their first albums on Parlophone in the UK, those were also released in Australia, but the releases in North America were on Capitol Records, and they were more of like compilation albums. So like,
That's what I have.
Please,
right?
Please Me was never released in North America. It was released as like Beatles. I forget what it was, and like Beatlemania, or which one? What is it? With the Beatles was released as Beatlemania.
Yeah.
But it was a different track list, right? So it was something that just felt like, unless I'm going to pay an obscene amount of money to ship this over from the UK, I don't know how I'm going to get this. But I never knew that they also released those studio albums in Australia. And so as soon as I mentioned that, Tom was like, oh, I can get those albums here for, 40 Australian dollars, which is pretty much a 1-to-1 conversion to Canadian dollars, right? So I put Tom on the hunt, and I said, Tom, get me those albums.
Nice.
So he went out and found Please Please Me with the Beatles, Beatles for Sale, Help, and
Nice.
Hard Day's Night.
Nice.
And it took him about, and I told him too, I was like, if you're going to do this, do it right. Get me some like,
Nice copies.
very good plus near mint copies. I'm willing to pay. I like, this is, it's a bucket list thing for my record collection to have this discography. And he did it. And the cherry on top was the Japanese pressing of Beatles for Sale in like an NM plus condition.
Nice.
Crazy
That's really cool.
good.
So
Crazy good.
do you have the 2009 re-releases as well on top of these? Or these are the only copies you have of this?
These are the only copies I have. So like, these are just like,
so you just went for all the OGs.
just the OG releases of these Beatles.
Oh, and they're all
albums.
first or
They're
second.
they're not first press.
Okay,
a couple
okay.
of them are, but
Okay.
Some of them are like early reissues,
That's
but
sweet, though.
they're really some of them are really common here. Like you see them in record stores all the time. You see them on Marketplace. You see them at fairs. So that's why I was like, if I just keep an eye out, I can pick these up.
Nice.
It's funny
But
how that
don't-
works, eh?
one of the things that I did want was the album cover from the UK, because in Australia they were released on different album with different album art.
Nice.
And so some of the later releases in Australia had the
Same art.
the OG art, but the actual album art from Australia that I loved was with the Beatles, which is Tom posted it on Instagram, which is like the black background with just their heads,
their heads.
with the pink with the Beatles. I think it's so iconic. So that was the one that I wanted to have as the Australian pressing.
Oh, that's sweet.
Big thanks to Tom for that. And in the package as well was
What?
the signed Chats record for Chris.
Oh, shit.
That's exciting.
And Tom went and got some totes done with the Crate Expectations.
Oh, is that where you got that for?
Nice.
Yeah,
Leash
so
actually did that.
Oh,
Leash
that's
actually
awesome.
organized that.
super nice tote. So when you guys come to see me and you pick up your Betty Ray's albums, you'll be going home with that.
Take it
Crate
home
We got
and
Expectations
swag.
Nice.
tote.
We got
Yeah, some swag.
That's awesome.
Lee. Yeah. Oh,
For the listeners, keep your eye out for some Crate Expectations swag coming out this year.
oh, nice.
So
Not just
eventually.
totes. Not just totes.
Maybe, yeah.
Maybe something else.
And there was also the what's it called? Magical Mystery Tour.
Oh, that's right.
The
There
little,
was because that was another difference from the UK and North America. North America got an LP.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The UK, Australia got an EP of Magical Mystery Tour.
two 7-inch EPs,
Oh, cool.
and I've got 2 copies. So I sent Dan. I've got a stereo and a mono, so I sent Dan the stereo.
Yeah, so that's cool. I keep it in the plastic sleeve with the LP, and
That's
so
cool.
it's like I've got the full from start to finish studio releases of the Beatles records. I'm just like,
That's awesome, man.
That's amazing.
Good for you.
couldn't be more stoked. Like obviously, I talk a little bit too much about the Beatles on this podcast, and
Can you do a
I
nice
just-
spread? I want to see a nice like floor picture.
so-
Yeah, we need a good
Yeah,
video
okay.
on that, Dan.
Can
yeah,
you?
I've got
flat lay.
I've got a reel for the unboxing, and I've got
Oh yeah,
we're gonna do a really nice photo. Lena's gonna stage a really nice photo of all the albums together.
Nice.
awesome.
And then can you do the Yoko Ono one where you're like hugging it?
Yes.
Naked, please and thank you.
Oh man, you know what? Maybe
Yeah, I think you need.
I might.
I think you need to do that.
Maybe.
I might.
That's for your private collection, bud.
You can hang it on the wall above your
For the
bed.
fans,
Hey.
I gotta get what the fans want. You know.
The fans
what,
definitely want that.
Do you know what's cool about that? If there's any more stuff that you need from Australia, I can actually bring it over because Leisha and I are moving to Canada later this year.
No fucking way.
No, you're not.
No,
Come on.
No way,
Dude.
That's
Well,
huge.
that's a
Listeners,
surprise.
The other Groovy Guys look stunned.
Yeah.
Wow. When the hell?
That's
Yeah, man.
amazing.
Dude, man.
We've been here for 10 years. Figure it's time we get some good family time over in Canada. So I got my visa all sorted. We're
Nice.
starting
my
the prep to move.
Oh, that's awesome, man. Congratulations.
Dude, that's so exciting.
I'm stoked for that.
We can do a live episode.
We can, yeah.
Yeah, well, do you know what? Like, I say it's for family reasons, but
It's for us.
main
It's for the
reason is so we
podcast.
can
It's
take
for
the
the
pod to the
podcast, yeah.
next level. Yeah. I'm taking this to the next level.
Yeah.
But we can do a live pod.
Yeah.
We can have listening parties.
Nice.
We can
Amazing.
go digging together.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Go to shows
Crazy.
together.
Oh my god.
That's
I'm
that's
speechless.
great news.
I'm so excited. That's exciting.
Just sprung that on you guys.
I'm so excited to see Alicia. Just, not Tom. Whoa.
That's awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's Diggin. Matt, you normally have about 100 albums show up a week. So do you want to just quickly rattle off some highlights
Okay,
before
so-
we get on to spinning?
To be fair, I've been trying to keep with the,
Liar.
the motto for the year.
Stop.
Which
Liar.
Lauren's not listening.
No,
man.
no, no.
Just tell us the truth.
Hang on. A lot of what showed up was pre-ordered last year. Some of it got pushed back to this year.
Bullshit.
Okay.
Anyways, so I've had some Chili Peppers showed up. I've had the expanded edition of the Eminem show. I got some Shania.
Yes.
That's been big for me. Green Day Nimrod box set. And
Love that album.
I just had Pink's latest album show up today in the mail.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So I want, in addition to the Yoko Ono photo of Dan with his Beatles records, I want a photo of you like Scrooge McDuck laying on a pile of records instead of money.
Swimming in his records.
Swimming in your record basement.
Sounds good.
All right. What about, let's move on. Actually, really quickly, C.O.F.F.I.N, Australian band, punk. They toured with Amel and the Sniffers last year in Europe. Punk hard rock, really cool, Chris. I think they'd be right up your alley.
Yeah, check 'em out.
I slept on them hard. The album came out in 2020.
Oh.
They're up to their 7th repressing of. They're obviously doing small runs and they keep selling out.
Cool.
I couldn't buy it in Australia. I had to order it from Europe
That's cool.
to
I
get
like
it,
that.
but I have it now and it is
Amazing.
It's so good. I've spun
Nice.
it, I don't know, 3 times this week since it arrived.
That's awesome, man.
That's probably my heavy rotation ticked off as well. So if you guys, what has everyone been spinning? Dan?
I've been big into this band called Way Dynamic. Boy Genius just released their 3 singles. Super stoked about their album coming out in April. Andy Shauf, one of my favorite artists, just released an album in February. So that's been on heavy rotation, and I've been listening to a lot.
You're a big fan of his, eh?
I'm a huge fan. I think in 2020 I was top 0.1% of listeners.
Oh wow.
And yeah, 100%. And I've been digging into a lot, or going back into Tokyo Police Club. So
Nice.
listen to them a
Love
lot.
Tokyo Police Club.
Yeah.
Chris, what's been on her other than the Wiggles?
She's moved on, so it's Johnny Be Good is her new favorite song. So we listened to that like 7 times
Amazing.
today. It's nice, but after like 7 times in a row, it gets a lot. On the turntable,
You should show her the that scene from
Back to the Future.
Back to the Future.
Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see if she's into that.
Maybe she's not ready for that. yet.
She's probably not, but her kids will love it. Yeah. But on the turntable is the Kinks. My dad got me the Best Of.
Nice.
So
Ooh,
that's
nice.
been living on the turntable.
Very cool.
Very big fan of Best Of albums because I can't afford or have the space to do full discographies. And on Spotify, it's been JB Paterson a lot, and then that led me to a new band or a new singer, Adam Newling, who's another Australian singer, I do believe, and he just popped up on the list, and I've been obsessed with the song Singing Blackbird. If you haven't heard it yet, he's got this like
Cool.
growly kind of folky voice, kind of Bruce Springsteen-esque, and yeah, really enjoying his albums. So definitely check it out.
Nice. I need to check him out.
Yeah, big fan. I think you'll like him, Tom.
Matt, what's spinning in your household?
So what I already mentioned, Shania Twain, been listening to a lot of Yeah Yeahs. Paramore just dropped a new album, which I also picked up. I've been listening to some of their, I was listening, to some of their older stuff to get prepared for the new record coming out. That's kind of it at the moment.
Shania's made a huge comeback.
She just dropped a new album.
She just dropped a new album. Yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the new one, but like
I don't love the auto. I know she's had issues with her voice, but I don't love the auto-tune kind of sound that's come into her new music.
I haven't checked it out.
yeah, it's but again, it dragged me back into like her old stuff, and I was blaring it that her first album is
Oh my god.
amazing.
The run of albums with Mutt Lang.
Yep.
Oh, so
far
good.
out.
So good.
Leash and I watched the documentary recently, actually, on Netflix. It's really good.
Oh, I
Is
gotta check that out.
Yeah. Is that what made like the spark the comeback? Is that what it was? The documentary?
I'm not sure. She did tour recently. We saw her a few years ago in Australia, and she's been doing a Vegas show.
Yeah, I thought-
and she did that thing at Coachella with Harry Styles
That's
last
right.
year. So yeah, she has been around. Back
I think she
for
was
a
touring
while.
before 2020 as well.
Oh, was she? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Because I almost bought her album, but I couldn't justify. It wasn't the one I wanted, and it was like $45-$50, and I couldn't justify it. It wasn't. I don't know.
It seems like that's standard now, hey?
Yeah, it's killing me.
It's
Yeah.
getting there.
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah, especially Big Wreck. I feel like they've already released that album once, and they did not a remastering. I can't remember.
Reissue?
Not a reissue, where they re-sound engineered it. They went in a different direction, kind of like what the Let It Be Naked. What's that called?
Yeah, okay.
Like a
And
more
they say-
stripped down version.
Yeah, and they
Reimagining?
yeah, and they said it sounds completely different. Blah blah blah. So it's like, okay, I'll pick that up. And they wanted it came to $72.
Whoa.
And I was like, I'm sorry. I love Big Wreck. I already own this album. I can't pull that.
It's a lot of
trigger on
money
Spotify.
for one album.
Yeah, they only made
Yeah.
500 of them, but I'm like, come on, guys. Well, that's a bit much.
Interesting. All right, well, let's move on to gigging. And I've only been to one gig since we last did a dig and spin and gigging, but I want to talk about it because I feel like I need like some sort of cathartic moment. So I went and saw Mayhem. They toured Australia. They're, for those who don't know, a Norwegian black metal band from the 90s. They're still kicking with a few different members. I think there's only one core member from the early days. But for a few years in high school, I was really into like mostly black metal, to be honest. Bit of death metal, but like a lot of really hardcore music. And Mayhem are, like their albums from the 90s are kind of pillars of the black metal scene, but they're lunatics. Like their history is the history's really full on. Like they had a singer kill themselves. They had a band member go to jail for murdering another band member.
What?
Like
What?
they are, and they were involved in like church burnings in Norway. Like they're extreme. They are extremists.
Wow.
And some of their themes when you're a teenager are like, oh, this is dark and moody and cool. And you're like, and some of their tunes, like their riffs are bangers. But the themes, when you get a bit older and have a bit of sense, the themes are silly to me as an adult. But I wanted to check them out. I'd never seen them live because the last time they toured Australia, when I was into them, it was over 18s and I was 15, I think. So I couldn't go to the shows. So I went along with a couple of mates and like the mix was shit, which didn't help. You could barely hear the vocals.
That's hard with metal bands. That's a tough thing.
Yeah. And like as musicians, don't get me wrong, as musicians, they're unbelievable. As a lot of metal bands are. When you watch them playing, you're like, fuck, they are so good at their craft. But like there's a bit of dress up. The singer's like waving a noose around sometimes. He's like holding a skull sometimes. And I'm like, this is just, it's like almost comical, but it's supposed to be menacing. And I'm like, I guess it just made me realize like sometimes nostalgia gives you a bit of rose tinted glasses.
Yeah, for sure.
Unfortunately, like I don't know, maybe it's growth, but you do move on. I still listen to a lot of metal. I love a lot of metal, but I'm more into like bands like Gojira that have a social conscience and, talk about making the world a better place as opposed to, menacing guys in hoods waving nooses around. So I don't know. It was kind of, I left it quite sort of flat and disappointed that, I don't know, that it didn't meet expectations. Have you guys, do you know what I mean? Like, have you ever experienced that?
Yeah, actually, what's funny is that for me, I don't know if I mentioned in the last episode that I went to Bright Eyes, but Bright Eyes was one of Alina's favorite bands back in the day, and she had never seen them live. And when we saw Connor Oberst come on stage and like just be wasted and high on something, like her perception of him and her, and like, that separation of like who she was in high school and who she is now, was like kind of the same kind of moment, right? Like this like, oh, don't meet your heroes. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
And then also for me, like I was a big Matt Good fan back in the day, and we went to go see his acoustic show, I think back in December, and it just like I'd seen him live a couple times, which were amazing shows, and seeing him live then, it was just like
It's not hitting the same.
Past his prime, and it feels a little sad at this point,
Oh, I don't.
I guess it's kind of like I can't remember the album, but we featured a gangster rap album last year, and it was the same kind of thing, right? Like as you get distance from it, you can't really relate, and you kind of think, oh, maybe the themes in this aren't, cool or funny. They're kind of grim. I guess it's the same. It's similar to that.
I think that's called old age.
Yeah, maybe. I'm just getting soft in my old age. But look, I'm still like, I'm going to Knotfest in a few weeks actually. So like I'm still heavy into metal. I just maybe I'm a bit picky about the themes these days.
For those of us who don't know what Knotfest is, what's that?
It's a festival headlined by Slipknot, and then it's just a bunch of metal bands. So
Slipknot's on my list.
Megadeth. Man, the lineup for Knotfest is crazy. Like In Flames, Megadeth, Amon Amarth, who are like Scandinavian Viking metal. There's some really cool Parkway Drive, who are from they're an Australian metal band who are huge in Europe. So it's gonna be cool. I'm really excited to see Megadeth.
Nice.
Even though Dave Mustaine is, he's getting on, I still think that's gonna be. And I've never seen Slipknot, and they've got some. It's gonna be wild.
Yeah, we'll have to hear about that one.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And on the complete other end of the spectrum, I'm seeing JB Paterson next week, actually.
Amazing.
Real
nice.
jealous.
Oh my God.
I'll send some vids.
Yeah. Try to get his autograph. You should be able to do that. Go bring your vinyl. Hop a fence. Get his autograph. Come on. That's
maybe I should try and get him to sign it.
You should ask him to be on the pod. Come on.
Yeah, get him on. I
do actually want to do an introduce yourself with him at his studio. He runs like a recording studio on his off-grid farm.
Nice.
That's cool.
Yeah. Man. He seems like a dude.
Yeah, he'll be into it. Don't worry.
I'll just jump the fence, offend a security guard on their professionalism, wave at them wildly, telling them I'm their biggest fan. I'll have an animal eat the packaging before I get there. Sam Roberts fan shirt.
Number one fan, 100%.
Yeah, I've had this shirt since grade 10.
There's no doubt in my mind that Chris is Sam Roberts.
Okay.
Yeah.
I want to see.
We got to get them on at some point. We got to get them on for their side of the story.
They agreed.
Crazy.
They agreed. I've just been too busy, but that's
the crazy guy. Anyone else got any other gigs to mention before we wrap things up?
My cousin's in a sweet Shania Twain cover band, so you guys everyone out there in the world should check out Shania Twink. They just
is that the show you offered Dan tickets to
and then revoked on?
Withdrew?
Yeah, I actually have to go see them. They seem really fun.
Yeah, there was the downside to that. There was a giant snowstorm here, so we couldn't get there. So I gave my tickets away. Then they canceled the show and redid it on another night that I could have gone to, but I already gave my tickets away. So no one got to go, Dan. So me and you, everyone lost out.
That's what you get.
Yeah. So thanks, Katie. I promised her I'd get her in her show in the future. Yeah.
Hey, Dan, you want some tickets? Oh, sorry, it took you like 30 seconds to reply. No.
Man, they're in high demand. All right.
They're still available that night, but.
All right. Well, that's probably a good time to wrap things up.
Yeah.
That's another episode of Diggin, Spinnin, Giggin. If you haven't listened this year, we've already dropped a few episodes, albums to welcome the new year, albums to beat the winter blues, and introduce yourself with Matt Goldman from New Orleans Jazz Fest. Really interesting chat with him about this year's lineup and the history of the festival. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, following us, send us some hate mail, etc. Till next time, keep digging and spinning.
And gigging.
Peace.
The Groovy Guys are Tom Kennedy, Dan Lozier, Chris Palumbo, and Matt Carvalho. With your host, Tom Kennedy. Music by Dan Lozier, post-production by Matt, and album art by Chris.